Test. Test.
Let me bring this microphone over so your mom can...
Om Shri Ganganapate Namaham. Devotees Jai Sita Ram. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to our special Ganesh Chaturthi Puja for this evening. At this time, devotees, I ask that we all please clasp our hands, close our eyes. You focus your minds on the feet of Lord Ganesh as we commence with our puja for this evening. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Ishavasyam Idam Sarvam Yatkincha Jagatyam Jagat Tena Tyaktina Bhunjita Magrudha Khasya Swidhanam Om Yam Brahma Varudendra Rudra Marutastun Vanti Divyestave Vedisamaga Parakramopanidishe Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastita Tadagatina Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yashantam Naviru Sura Suragana Devaya Tasme Namaha Om Shantakaram Bhujagashayaram Padmanabham Surisham Vishwadharam Gagan Sadrasham Meghavarnam Shubhangam Om Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Bhiradhyanagamyam Vanne Vishnu Bhavabhayaharam Sarvaloke Kanatam Om Vakratundam Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurume Deva Sarvakari Shusarvada Om Saraswati Mahabhagi Vidhi Kamala Luchine Vidyarupe Vishalakshi Vidhyam Dehi Namostute Om Dhyana Moolam Gurur Murti Puja Moolam Gurur Param Mantra Moolam Gurur Bhakyam Moksha Moolam Gurur Kripan Mangalam Bhagwana Vishnu Mangalam Garudadvaja Mangalam Bundari Kaksham Mangalaya Tanohari Om Karagre Vasate Lakshmi Karamule Saraswati Karamadhitu Govinda Prabhate Karadarshanam Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. We offer prayers to Prithvivata as we bless and sanctify the seat onto which we sit. Om Samudravasane Devi Parvatastane Mandite Vishnu Patni Namastobhyam Padasparasham Kshamaswame Om Prithvi Tvaya Dratha Loka Devi Tvam Vishnu Nadratha Tvam Shadharyamam Devi Pavitram Kuruchasanam Om Shri Prithvi Devaya Namaham. I don't have the leaves by me, so you're going to have to take a leaf, place it down by your feet, and then take your seat. Om Shri Prithvi Devaya Namaham. Go ahead and take some water into your right hand and wash your hands. Om Hasta Prakshalanam Samarpayami Govindaya Namaham. We sip water 3 times to purify the body. And for those of you who are participating at home, you will drink the water once we say Swaha. Om Keshavaya Namaha Swaha. Om Madhavaya Namaha Swaha. Om Narayanaya Namaha Swaha. We wash our hands again. Om Apavitra Pavitroa Sarvavashtam Gatopiva Yasmerita Pundari Kaksham Sabhayabhyam Tara Shuchiyom. Om. You're going to take the mango ring and place it on your right hand ring finger. Om Kushumule Stito Brahma Kushamadhe Janardana Kushagre Shankaro Devastena Putyam Karomyaham. We take some chandan, we apply it onto your forehead. Om. Om Chandanasya Mahatpunyam Pavitram Papanashanam Aparam Harate Nityam Lakshmishtate Sarvadaum. We take a red thread and we tie it onto your wrist. And take the one from Krishna Janamashmi. Om Yena Bandhu Bali Raja Dalavendro Mahabala Tena Tom Madhubandani Rakshama Chalamachalam Om Laitelik Samarpayami. Om Mulaitelik Samarpayami. Okay. And then the next step we perform is we're going to take our hands, place them in front of us. We know that in this world and on this physical plane, there's multiple things around us that will cause a distraction. So what we do now is we invoke the devatas and ask them to help remove any distractions from us from our physical environment so we can focus on the puja. So we take our hands, we place them in front of us, we put our thumbs together, and we chant Om Haram Angushtabhyayam Namaha Hridaye Namaham. We take our pointer fingers, place them together. Om Harim Tarjnibhyam Namaha. Om Shirase Swaha. Middle fingers together. Om Hrum Madhyamabhyam Namaha. Om Shikhavaya Vashut. Ring fingers. Om Haram Anamikabhyam Namaha. Om Kavachayahum. Pinkies together. Om Hara Karatara Karpratishtabhyam Namaha. Om Netrayaya Vachut. Take your hands, rub them together. Om Hara Karatara Karpratishtabhyam Namaha. Ashtarayapat. Take your hands, go around your head in a clockwise motion, so to the right, all the way to the left. Snap your fingers. Om Bhurvaswarum Itigbandha Dishobhanami. The next step we do is we take some water in our left hand now, and utilizing our right hand ring finger, we perform Ang Sparsh. We bless the various parts of our body. We touch our mouth first. Om Ang Meyasyastu. We touch our nose. Om Nasorme Pranarastu. We touch our eyes. Om Akshorme Chakshurastu. We touch our ears. Om Kanyorme Shrotamastu. We touch our arms. Om Bahorme Balamastu. We touch our legs. Om Urvorme Ojavastu. Touch your stomach. Om Nabihi. The heart. Om Hridayam. Touch your throat. Om Kantaha. Top of your head. Om Shira. Take the rest of the water and sprinkle it over your entire body. Om Marishtani Miyanyani Tanustanawame Saha Santu. We take a flower in our hand now, and devotees, may we all join together as we commence in chanting the most powerful Gayatri Mantra. Om. Om Nagakshe Devi. Aksharim Brahmavadini Gayatri Jagat Matar Vishwayoni Namostute Om Bhuri Bhuaswa Tatsavitur Harenyam Bhargode Vasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Om Bhuri Bhuaswa Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargone Vasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat Om Bhuri Bhuaswa Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargone Vasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayat. Hari Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Prem Sabro Gayatri Mata Ki Jai. We place our flowers down on our bedi, and the next step we perform, devotees, is to take some rice in our hands. We take some flower petals as well. You have the rice? Okay. We take some rice, we take some flower petals, and before we can commence with our main pujas and before we can commence to worship any devatas, we have to recognize all the devatas in their forms to come and reside with us. So essentially we're making a list. We're saying to all the devatas that we want you to come join us. We're creating and saying that these are the devatas we want to reside with us. And as we do that, we ask for peace, protection, and prosperity in all directions. And we do this, devotees, as we join together in chanting the Swasti Vachan. Om Swasti na Indron Bridhastra Swasti na Pusha Vishwavidha Swasti na Staraksho Arishtan Mehi Swasti no Brihaspatir Nadhatu Om पाया पृथिव्यं पायोषदिशो पायो दिव्यन्तरिक्षे पायोधा पायस्वती प्रदिशा सन्तु मह्यम् ॐ विष्णुरराटमसि विष्णुष्णपत्रस्थो विष्णुस्यूरसि विष्णुध्रुवसि विष्णुवमसि विष्णुवेतवार ॐ अग्निर्देवता वातो देवता सूर्यो देवता चन्द्रमा देवता वसुः देवता रुद्र देवता आदित्य देवता मरुतो देवता विश्वदेव देवता बृहस्पतिर्देवता इंद्रो देवता वरुणो देवतार ओम द्याः शांतिर अंतरिक्षगं शांतिर पृथ्वी शांतिर आपा शांतिर औषधेय शांतिर वनस्पति शांतिर विश्वदेव शांतिर ब्रह्मा शांतिर सर्वेगं शांतिर शांतिरेवा शांति सामा शांतिरेरि ओम विश्वानि देव सवितुर्दरथानि परस्वा यद्भद्रं तनवास्वा ओम इमागं रुद्राय कवसे कपर्दिने कायविरयार्पभारमहीमति यथानां शंसतद्वीपरे चतुष्परे विश्वं पुष्टं ग्राम्यस्मिन्ननातुरम् इतं ति देव सवितर्यज्ञं प्रभुर्बृहस्पति ब्रह्मणे तेन यज्ञमय तेन यज्ञपतिं तेन मामवार ओम मनो ज्योतिरजुषथामाज्यस्य बृहस्पतिर्यज्ञमिमं दोनोद्विष्टं यज्ञं समिमं ददातु विश्वदेवस्य यहामद्यत्तम् ओम प्रतिष्ठः ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे प्रियाणां त्वा प्रियपतिगुं हवामहे निधीनां त्वा निधिपतिगुं हवामहे वसोमम् आहं जानि गर्भतम् आत्वं जासि गर्भतम् ओम नमो गणेभ्यो गणपतिभ्यो नमो नमो रातेभ्यो रातपतिभ्यो नमो कृत्सेभ्यो कृत्सेपतिभ्यो नमो नमो विरूपिभ्यो विरूपपतिभ्यो नमो नमः ओम समुखश्चाकरन्तश्च कपिलो गजकर्णकहार लंबोदरष्टाविगतो विघ्ननाशो विनायकार धूम्रकेतुर्गणारक्षो बालचन्द्रो गजानना द्वादशास्तानि नामानि हपतितृणुयादपि विद्यारम्भे विवाहे च परविष्णुर्गमे तथा संग्रामे संकटश्चैव विघ्नस्य न जायते ओम शुक्लं भरधरं देवं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये ओम सर्वमङ्गलमङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके देवी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते ओम श्रीमन्महागणाधिपतये नमः ओम लक्ष्मीनारायणाभ्यां नमः ओम उमामहेश्वराभ्यां नमः ओम वाणिहिरण्यगर्भाभ्यां नमः ओम शशिपुरन्नभ्यां नमः श्री गुरुगोचरणकमलभ्यो नमः ओम माता पितृभ्यां नमः ओम श्रीवीराय नमः ओम श्रीवीरपुरुषाय नमः ओम इष्टदेवताभ्यो नमः कुलदेवताभ्यो नमः ओम स्थानदेवताभ्यो नमः ग्रामदेवताभ्यो नमः ओम वास्तुदेवताभ्यो नमो नमः ओम सर्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो नमो नमः ओम सर्वेभ्यो ब्राह्मणेभ्यो नमो नमः ये कर्म प्रधान देवताभ्यो नमो नमः अविघ्नमस्तु यज्ञारम्भ शुभय भावतु हरि ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम. Devotees, now that we've recognized all the devatas that we want residing with us to perform this puja, we have to send them an invitation and make sure that they know that we are trying to welcome them into our home. To do that, we perform our sankalp. So at this point, devotees, you're going to take a palm leaf in your hand if you have any. If not, that's perfectly fine. Take some rice. Take a flower as well. And if you have it at your availability, devotees, you take a supari. Place all of that in your hand. And we join together as we perform our sankalp, as we say, Om Hari Om Tat Sat Vishnu Vishnu Shri Padmatmane Shri Purana Purushottmaya Adhya Brahmano Advityar Pararatehe Shri Shweta Vadahal Kalpe Vaivasvata Manvantare Ashta Vinshati Tame Kal Yuge Kali Prataranam Charane Adhya Jambu Deepe Uttar Amerikateshe Antarkate Shetre. You say the state that you're in. For us, Georgia Pradesh, the county. Om Fayet Nagare, the city. Om Fayet Velgrame Shalivana Sharkawani Om Shalivana Shaki Varatamani Vabaharike Om Vikari Sanwatsare Surya Utranayane Utro Golitao Bhadrapadmase Shukla Pakshe Trityatitao Shukrawar Vasare Om Falguni Nakshatre Garkarana Sadhya Yoghe Om Ganya Rishi Om Gotra Namaha. If you know your Gotra, you chant that. Om Bharwaj Namaha. Take your name and speak it. Om Yajman Namaha. Mahendra Namaha. Om Stan Siteshu Satsu Yevam Guna Visheshna Vishishtayam. Om Shubha Punyatita Mama Atmana Shruti Smriti Paranauta Paraprapiratam. Om Mama Sukatum Vakshak Shahimastaria Ayur Arogya Chaturavir Purush Arata Siddhyaratam Agni Krita Shri Sukta Paranauta Mantrascha Dhyana Navan Adi Shahoda Shopachari. Om Kirtan Shri Ganapati Namo Namam. Om Kama Chapancha Devata Kamaha Puja Karmaham Toja Stapanam Eva Devatam Homam Karishiye. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. We take the pan leaf with all the supplies in it, materials in it, we place it down on the Bedi. And now that we've sent that invitation out to the Devatas devotees, and we've asked them and let them know that we want them to come reside with us so we can perform puja onto them, we perform our next step, which is our Kalsa puja. In order for us to have an area ready for them, devotees, we have to establish and build that area, which is the seat for the Devatas to reside on. So before we actually build that seat, devotees, what we're going to do is take a flower in our hands, and we're going to offer prayers to Prithvi Mata to bless and sanctify the earth on which the Kalsa will be built on. Om Namo Namo Mirhani Lokamata Uroema Shaila Shila Dhare Namo Namo Dharani Lokadhatri Jagat Pratishna Vasundhava Namostute. Om Gaksha Prithvi Devi Stani Chatra Stiro Bhava Yavat Bhujam Karishyami Tavatvam Sanidho Baha. Om Mahedya Prithvi Chana Amimyangam Mimikshitam Vipratano Bharimabhi. Om Shri Prithvi Devaya Namaha Avahayami Stapayami Pujayami. We place our flower down. The next step we do, devotees, is we take our hands and we place it down on the area where we're going to be establishing our Kalsa. So if you have your Kalsa in the area where you want it established, you're going to lift it up. You're going to move it out of the way, and then take your hand, place it down on that area as we sanctify that earth. Om Bhurasi Bhumirasa Titarasi Vishwadhaya Vishwasya Bhurinasa Dharitri Prithviyacha Prithvi Drugamha Prithvi Mamhigwam Sihi. We establish the area by placing some grain. So we take some rice and place it down on that same exact spot we touched. Om Aushadhaya Samwanatan Somena Saharajna Yasmi Kurunati Brahmanastam Rajan Pariyamasi. We lift the Kalsa up next, devotees, and we place it down onto the rice that we just placed onto our Bedi. Om Akaleshu Dhavite Pavitri Parasan Shakti Yugeshru Ardhate. If you have anything on the top of your Bedi, devotees, or on top of your Kalsa, I ask that you go ahead and take that off now. And the next step you're going to do is take some Ganga Jal or some water, whichever you may have, and you're going to slowly pour some in so we can establish the 5 holy waters and the 5 holy rivers for the Devatas to reside on. Om Varunasya Yotam Paramasi Varunasya Sakam Sarajanisto Varunasya Ratasaranayasi Varunasya Ratasaranamasi Varunasya Ratasaranamasi. Om. We begin to decorate the Kalsa. So we take some chandan, haridram kumkum in sindoor. You can do that on a piece of cotton if you have it. And then you place that right below the neck of the Kalsa. So you take the chandan and the haridram kumkum sindoor. Om Gandadvaram Duradarasham Nitta Pushtam Karishinim Ishwarim Sarvabhutanam Tam Hopi Vaishriyam. The next step you perform, devotees, is you take a supari, place it on the inside of the Kalsa if you have it. Om Yafala Nirya Afala Apushpaya Chapushpani Brahaspati Prasatastano Manchatum Hasaham. You take a coin, place the coin on the inside. Om Hiranya Gharabasam Varatagre Budhasya Jatipitireka Asits Nahadhara Pritikim Daimutmam Kasme Deva Havishavidhema. Next, devotees, if you have your mango leaves, typically your mango leaves are going to be 5 leaves connected to one stem. You take those and you insert them onto the inside of the Kalsa. Om Ashtadevo Nisharadam Paranevo Tishkita Ubhaja Itkalasata Yatsanavatam Purushaum. As we continue to establish our Kalsa for the Devatas to reside on, devotees, you take a piece of red thread and you tie this around the neck of the Kalsa right above the area where you placed your Gandham. Om Yuvasuasa Parvit Agatsa Ushrayan Bhavati Jayamana Tam Dhirasan Kawaya Unayaniti Swadhyo Manasa Devayanta Aum. And then the last piece we do to create this Kalsa, devotees, is we take a plate with rice in it, and we place that plate with rice on the very top of our Kalsa. Om Purana Dharvi Pararprata Sapurana Purana Apata Vasnima Vikrana Bahai Ishamurajam Shatakrito Om Iti Kalasham Pratishtaya Payami Sakala Pujarate Akshatan Samare Payami. Alright, devotees. At this point, for those of you, if you have it, you take a coconut in your hands. If you do not have a coconut, you can use a supari. And if you don't have a supari, then you can use anything that you may have. A nutmeg, if you have such, a grape. You take it with if you have a coconut, the eyes facing upwards. And at this point, devotees, what we're going to do is invoke all the devatas into this coconut that we're holding into our hands. This coconut that we're holding, or this nut, or whatever you may are holding, represents a universe for the devatas to reside in. We obviously just built one Kalsa. We didn't build multiple for multiple devatas. So what we do is we ask all the devatas to reside within this galaxy, this universe that we're holding in our hands, and then we offer that seat to the devatas. So now, devotees, what we do is after we've built the seat, we invoke all the devatas, we welcome them into our home, and ask them to reside within this galaxy, this universe in our hands. Om Kalashasya Mukhe Vishnu Kanti Rudra Samashrita Mulitasya Stito Brahma Madhye Matre Ganasmrita Om Kukshatu Sagrahastarave Saptadvipa Vasundhara Rigvedo Tatya Jurveda Samavedo Yatarona Om Angeshtha Sahita Sarave Saptadvipa Vasundhara Rigvedo Tatya Jurveda Samavedo Yatarona Om Gange Cha Jamuna Cheva Godavari Saraswati Naramari Sinu Kaveri Jalayasmin Sanidhi Kuru Om Devadana Vasamare Matyamane Mahodana Urhutto Saudara Kumbha Brahmana Cha Pratishnita Om Brahmana Nirmataswamhi Mantri Reva Muratarbhave Prartayami Chatvam Kumbha Vanchitarthadantu Dehi Me. Now, devotees, you take that coconut that we've invoked the devatas in, and we place it on the very top of the Kalsa. Om Tatvayami Brahmana Vandamanastara Shasaya Chamano Havirbihi Ahila Manavaru Borushavam Samana Ayu Pramoshihi Om Burboswaha Varunai Namaha Om Avahayam Samarapayami. After we've offered that seat to the devatas, devotees, we continue on with our puja by taking water and offering water to wash their feet. We perform padyam to the devatas. Om Burboswaha. To do this, devotees, you're going to do it on the coconut, symbolically in the area where their feet would be. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Padyam Samarapayami. We wash the hands. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Arigyam Samarapayami. We offer water for them to wash their mouth. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Achmanim Samarapayami. And then we offer full water for them to bathe. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Snadam Samarapayami. After we bathe the devatas, devotees, we take a piece of cotton or a piece of cloth, whatever you may have, and offer some clothing for the devatas to adorn themselves with. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Vastra Yugmam Samarapayami. The next step, devotees, is we take a sacred thread, a yagyopoit, and we offer for the devatas to adorn themselves with. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Vastra Yugmam Samarapayami. After we've clothed the various devatas, devotees, we take the gundam, which is our powders, and we offer them one by one. We start by offering chandan. Om Shri Kanda Chandanam Dibyam Gandhyadam Sumuroharam Miliparam Sarshishta Chandanam Pratigrahitam. You take the Haridram next, which is the turmeric powder, the yellow powder. You place it to the right, or your right, of the chandan. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Chandanam Samarapayami, Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Haridram Samarapayami. We offer our kumkum powder, which is the red powder next, right next to the turmeric. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Kumkumam Samarapayami. And finally, we offer sindur. We offer sindur right next to the kumkum powder. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Sinduram Samarapayami. We offer the devatas some rice to decorate themselves with. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Akshatam Samarapayami. We offer the devatas a flower to decorate themselves with as well. Any color is fine, devotees. Om Bhurupaswaha, Varunai Namaha, Om Pushpam Samarapayami. And then we offer some abil and gulal next, devotees. That's a pink and a white powder. We take it with our ring finger and our thumb, and we sprinkle it on the top of the devatas. Om Bhodapaswaha, Varunaya Namaha, Om Abiram, Om Gulalam Samarapayami. We take some attar, which is some perfume, and we offer it to the devatas so they can make themselves more fragrant. Om Bhodapaswaha, Varunaya Namaha, Om Suganditil Samarapayami. And the next step we perform, devotees, is to wave some incense, some dupam around the devatas to make their environment more fragrant. Om Bhodapaswaha, Varunaya Namaha, Om Rupam Samarapayami. We take our diya, we perform arti around the devatas to make their environment brighter and beautiful. Om Bhodapaswaha, Varunaya Namaha, Om Deepam Samarapayami. And then the next step we perform, devotees, is to offer the devatas some food in the form of mahambog and phalam, fruits. Om Bhodapaswaha, Varunaya Namaha, Om Naivedyam Akandaritu Phalam Samarapayami. We offer the devatas some water to ensure that they have something to drink. Om Bhodapaswaha, Varunaya Namaha, Om Achmanyam Samarapayami. And then we offer the devatas something to cleanse their palate with, devotees. And that we offer tambulam, which is pan leaf, supari, elaichi, clove, and camphor. Om Bhodapaswaha, Varunaya Namaha, Om Pugi Phalam Samarapayami. Devotees, I know I said after dinner mint. I urge you, please don't go to your cabinet and grab an after dinner mint. Those typically contain gelatin. You do not want to put that on your Bedi right now. The next step, devotees, is you take a coin, a dakshina, and you offer it for the devatas. Om Bhodapaswaha, Varunaya Namaha, Om Dakshinam Samarapayami. And then the last and final step, devotees, is that we take a flower in our hands. We clasp our hands together, we close our eyes, we focus our minds on the feet of the devatas as we offer final pratana and final prayers for them to bless us as we join together and chant. Om Sita Site Sarite Yatra Singari Tatra Purata Sudiva Mutpatanti Ivetan Mam Vistrajanti Dhiratse Janasu Amrutatvam Bhajante Om Kalashikirti Mayusham Pragyamedam Shriyambalam Yogatam Papahanim Cha Punyam Vridim Sadhai Om Sarvatirta Mayo Yasmat Sarvadeva Mayo Yatha Athahari Priyositvam Purana Kumbam Namostute Om Kalasha Devataya Bho Namaha Sakala Pujarate Akshatan Samarapayami Iti Kalasha Pujanam. We take our flowers, we place it right in front of the kalsa. And now that we've completed that first permanent step, devotees, which is invoking the devatas and offering them a seat onto the Bedi, onto the kalsa that we made, we perform our second permanent step, which is, if you have it, devotees, you have a diya. That diya is on your right side, but on the left side of the kalsa. You take a match and we light that diya, and we make sure that there's a constant source of light, a constant source that will never go out for the diya, for the devatas to reside in when we light that diya. Om Bhodipatvam Brahmarupam Andakarani Varaka Imam Maya Kritam Bhoja Grihana Teja Prarvardhaya Om Dipebhyo Namaham. Devotees, for those of you who are performing a full puja at home, if you have somebody who is going to be taking care and performing the Hawan ceremony and making sure that we have a sustained Hawan Kund, we invoke them as our Brahmas. So for that, you're going to take some flowers, some rice in your hand, and you're going to place it on top of the head of that person. Om Navastayantaya Sahastra Murate Sahastra Parachishirubhave Sahastra Ramne Purasha Shashpate Sahastra Koti Bhuhid Harane Namaham. You take some chandan, place it on their forehead. Om Chandanam Manditam Nityam Pavitram Papanashanam Aparam Harati Nityam Lakshmi Osatu Saravada. And if you have a dakshina or some sort of gift, you offer to them. Om Hiranya Garabhagarabashtam Hema Bijam Vibhavaso Ananta Punyavaladam Atha Shantim Prechame. Om Yata Chaturmukho Brahma Sarva Veda Chaha Prabhu Tattvatamam Yagmayasmin Brahma Bhavadvi Jyotamam. And now that we've established and invoked our Brahma, the next step we perform, devotees, is to invoke and make sure we have a seat on our Bedi for Agnita Devata to reside. So that way, as we perform our puja, we have an area where we can make offerings to Agnita Devata, but I have an area where we can continuously make offerings, full offerings to Bhagwan. We take our matches, we go ahead and light our Hawan Kund as we invoke Agni Devata. Om Agni Mille Purohitam Yagyasya Devam Retvajam Hotaram Radhatamam Agni Devaya Namaham. Om Tvam Mukham Sarvadevanam Sapta Chira Bidhiyate Agache Bhagavan Agni Yagyasmin Sanidhao Bhava. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namaham. Om Dhyanati Dhyanam Avahanam. Om Asanam Samarepayami. As we performed our pujas for the devatas, devotees, we do the same thing for Agni Devata. We take some water, sprinkle it around to offer water to wash the feet, perform padyam. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Padyam Samarapayami. We offer water to wash the hands. Arigyam. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Arigyam Samarapayami. We offer water to wash the mouth. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Achmanim Samarapayami. And we offer water for bathing. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Snanam Samarapayami. We take a piece of cloth, devotees, and a yagyopuit, and we offer that inside of the Hawan Kund to adore Agni Devata. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Vastaryugmam Yagyopavitam Samarepayami. We offer the various powders, Chandan Haridram Kumkum Sindur, onto the side of the Hawan Kund. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Chandanam Samarapayami. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Haridram Samarapayami. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Kumkumam Samarapayami. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Sindhuram Samarapayami. We offer some rice to Agni Devata to adorn. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Akshatan Samarapayami. We offer flower or pushpam. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Pushpam Samarapayami. We offer a Bilang Gulal next. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Abhiram Gulalam Samarapayami. And then next, devotees, we offer some attar, which is some perfume. If you do have it, it's oil-based, most likely. I ask that you offer it on the outside of the Hawan Kund so as to not invoke and spark a larger fire. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Sugandhitela Samarpayami. We take our incense, devotees, we wave it around 3 times to make the air around Agni Devataya more fragrant. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Rupam Samarpayami. We take our diya and we perform arti to make the environment more bright and beautiful. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Deepam Samarpayami. Devotees, if you have some mahambog to offer and some phalam, you take that and you either take it out of the cup that it's in and place it in a pan leaf, or you just offer it directly into the Hawan Kund and you offer some mahambog and some fruits for Agni Devataya to eat, to consume. Om Agni Devataya Namo Namah. Om Naivedyam. Om Akandaritu Phalam Samarepayami. You take some water next, devotees. We sprinkle it around and offer water for Agni Devata to drink. Om Agni Devata Namo Namah. Om Achmanim Samarapayami. We offer a tambulam next for Agni Devata. Om Agni Devata Namo Namah. Om Pugi Phalam Samarapayami. And we take a coin, we place it inside of the Hawan Kund to offer a dakshina. Om Agni Devata Namo Namah. Om Dakshinam Samarapayami. And at this point, devotees, we typically stop here and say final pratana or final prayers to Agni Devata. But the purpose of invoking Agni Devata is to make sure that in our puja place, we have an area where we can consistently make sources of what we call true offerings. Offerings we know that once we make them, we're not going to get back. An example of that, devotees, is if I take a flower and I place it on the Bedi, I can pick that flower up and decorate myself with it if I so choose, put it in my hair, whatever hair I have remaining. However, if I take that flower and I place it inside of the Hawan Kund, the moment that Hawan Kund acquires that flower, the flames catch it, it burns and turns to ash, which means that when I put that flower in, I'm not going to get it back in the same way. So instead of offering final pratana, we're going to start our offerings to Agni Devata by taking ghee and placing it in as I say swaha. Om Prajapate Swaha. Iram Prajapate Idam Namama. Om Indraya Swaha. Iram Indraya Idam Namama. Om Agnaye Swaha. Iram Agnaye Idam Namama. Om Somaya Swaha. Iram Somaya Idam Namama. Om Bhu Swaha. Iram Agnaye Idam Namama. Om Bhua Swaha. Iram Vayave Idam Namama. Om Swa Swaha. Iram Suryaya Idam Namama. We take water and sprinkle it around 3 times to bless the Hawankun. Om Yathaman Pradharanam Kavacham Varakam Bhavet Bhadyudhayot Padhatanam Shantir Bhavati Varika. Om Shanti 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 Hari Prem Swaragni Devata Ki Jai. Devotees, at this part of the puja, what we typically do and what our normal steps is to begin our main puja to all the devatas that we're going to be performing puja on. Today, we know, is celebrating Ganesh Chaturthi, and typically we perform our full Ganesh puja at this time. But what we're going to do instead, devotees, is invoke Lord Ganesh, welcome him in, offer him a seat onto the Bedi, say just a quick prayer. We're going to go on to perform our full puja to Mother Gauri, to Mother Lakshmi, and the Navgraha Devata, and then we'll come back and finish our full puja on to Lord Ganesh. So, at this point, I ask that you take a red flower in your hand. You focus your minds on Lord Ganesh as we welcome him into your home and offer him a seat onto the Bedi and say a quick prayer for him to bless us so we can continue on with the rest of the puja before we come back. Om Shri Ganapati Namo Namaham. Om Eyehi Haramba Mahesha Putram Samasta Vignanod Vignanashataksha Manghalya Pujam Pratamam Pradhanam Grihana Pujam Bhagavan Namaste. Om Magakshe Bhagavan Deva Stani Chatrasti Bhava Yavat Pujam Karishyami Tavat Tvam Sanidhoba. Om Asya Prana Pratishtantu Asya Prana Ukshantarucha Asya Devata Marche Mamaheti Kasacham. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvada. Om Shri Ganapati Namo Namah. Om Dhyana Jam Avanam Asanam Samarapayami. And as I just mentioned, devotees, we will come back and finish our full puja onto Lord Ganesh here very shortly. But for now, we're going to take a pink flower in our hands and we will continue on with our puja onto that motherly form that destroys obstacles in our life. And that form is Mother Gauri. So, devotees, I ask that you take a pink flower in your hands. You clasp your hands, close your eyes, focus your minds on the feet of Mother Gauri. As we offer these prayers, we send her an invitation. We welcome her into your home, and you offer her seat onto the Bedi so you may worship her. Om Mahangauri Namo Namaham. Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye Shive Sarvat Sadhike Sharanye Trayambake Gauri Narayani Namostute. Om Sarva Lokyasya Jani Shulhastam Trilochanam Sarvadeva Mayimisham Devim Avahayam Nyaham. Om Asya Prana Pratishtantu Asya Prana Kshantarucha Asya Devatam Arche Mamaheti Kasacham. Om Ramyam Sushobanam Divyam Sarv Saukyakaram Shubham Asaram Shamayadakam Grihana Parameshwari. Om Mahangauri Namo Namam. Om Dhyanatidanam Avahanam Asanam Samarapayami. You take your flower, place it in front of Mother Gauri. The next step you perform, devotees, is to take some water. And if you have a Mother Gauri Murti, you may perform puja onto that. If not, devotees, you can place a supari or anything else down to represent Mother Gauri, and you take the water to perform padyam. You wash her feet. Om Sarvatirtha Mayo Sarvatirtha Samur Bhutam Padyam Gandhadi Bhiryutam Mayadatam Grihaninam Bhagwati Bhaktavatsale. You wash your hands. Om Ashtagandha Samayuktam Swaranapatra Prapuritam Agriha Grihanamaadhyatam Mahangauri Namostute. You offer water to wash your mouth. Achmanim. Om Sarvalokyasya Shakti Brahma Vishnu Shivadubi Tadamyachmanam Tasya Mahangauri Manoharam. We offer water to bathe Mother Gauri with. Om Paramananda Bodhabini Magnani Jamurate Sango Pango Midam Snanam Kalpayamyam Astaye. If you have Panchamrit, devotees, or even if you have milk, you offer that Panchamrit or milk to bathe Mother Gauri with. Om Panchamrita Samayuktam Jhanvi Sahalilam Shubham Grihana Vishwajanani Snanaratam Bhakta Vatsale. You offer clean water to bathe the Mother Gauri again. Om Toya Tawa, Om Toyam Tawa Mahadevi Karpura Garuvasitam Tirtebhya Susamanitam Snanaratam Pratigrihetam Om Mahagauri and Munamam Om Padim Ariyam Achmanimala Parkashasnanam Panchamrita Snanam Shudhodhaka Snanam Samaripayami. We offer Mother Gauri some clothing to adorn herself with. Om Vastram Cha Sumdhayotyam Lajhanatsuni Varanam Mayani Veditam Bhaktya Grihana Parameshwari. We offer her a thread to adorn. Om Nava Vishthantu Bi Yuktak Trigunam Devatamayam Upavitam Mayatakam Grihana Parameshwaram. We decorate Mother Gauri with the various powders. We start with chandan and place it onto her forehead. Om Paramananda Sombhagya Parani Purana Digantare Grihana Paramam Gandham Kripya Parameshwari. We offer some haridram, some turmeric powder onto her forehead next. Om Haridra Niramatam Devi Sombhagyam Sukha Sampate Atwastam Pujayishyami Grihana Parameshwari. We offer Mother Gauri some kumkum, some red powder. Om Kumkumam Kamana Dibyam Kamana Kamba Sambhava Kumkume Marchitam Devi Grihana Parameshwari. We offer Mother Gauri some sindoor, which is the orange or the vermilion powder. Om Sindhara Maruna Bhasam Chapakusuma Sanibam Pujitasi Maya Devi Prasidha Parameshwari. Om Mahagauri Namo Namah Om Chandaram Haritram Kumkumam Sinduram Samrapayami. We offer some rice from Mother Gauri to decorate her environment with. Om Ranjita Kumkumodena Akshatascha Shobhina Maimesham Devidanena Prasana Bhavashobhane. We offer a pink flower from Mother Gauri. Om Malikari Sughandini Malityadini Viprabho Maihiratani Pujaratam Pushpani Pratigriheyatam. We can continue to decorate Mother Gauri with abhil, the pink powder, and gulal, the white powder. Oh, abhir is the white powder, I'm sorry, gulal is the pink powder. Om abhiram cha gulalam cha cho chandrame cha abhirena archita devi tatha shantim prayachame. We offer Mother Gauri some attar, some perfume. Om Sneham Grihana Snena Lokeshwari Dayanine Sarvalokista Janani Dadami Sneha Muktamam. We take the incense next, devotees. We wave it around Mother Gauri 3 times to make her environment more fragrant. Om Dashangaghan Golam Dhupam Chandragaru Samyuktam Samarpitam Maya Bhaktya Mahadevi Pratigrihetam. We take the diya, we wave it around to make her environment more bright and beautiful. Om Kapala Saswarati Samyuktam Gritayuktam Manoharam Tamoana Shamkaram Deepam Grihana Parameshwari. We offer Mother Gauri some Naivedyam, Prasad, Kandariktufalam, and fruits. Om Sharkara Kanabhandyani Darkshriyam Gritani Cha Ahara Paksha Bhojam Cha Naivedyam Pratigrihetam. Om Idam Palam Mayare Vastapitam Purastava Tename Sapalavaptir Bhavich Janmani. We take some water, we offer to Mother Gauri. Om Shitalam Niramalam Toyam Karapurena Suvasitam Achamitam Medam Nevi Prasidha Paramamyaham. We offer Mother Gauri a tambulam to cleanse her palate with. Om Pugi Falam Mahadivyam Nagavali Dirgyutam Elachurati Samyuktam Tambulam Pratigriheyatam. We offer a dakshina or a coin. Om Puja Falasmurdhyaryatam Tavagare Swaranamishwari Stapitam Tena Me Prita Puranakuru Manoratan. And we perform karpur. You take a piece of camphor, you place it inside of a diya, and you wave it around 3 times. Om Khadali Gharabasambhuta Karpurashna Pradipitam Araratirtikamaham Kurve Yashame Vardhadu Bhava. Om Mahagauri Namo Namah. Om Dhupam Deepam Naivedam Kandarito Phalam Achmanyam Bhogi Phalam Dakshinam Karpuratiyam Samaripayami. And devotees, now we perform our last and final step. We take a flower in our hand. We focus our minds on the feet of Mother Gauri as we offer final pratana or final prayer. Om Ambe Ambike Kem balike naman tatti kaschana sashatya shivakashubhatrukam kampila vasinim Om putram dehi danam dehi saubhagyam dehi mangalye anyam sha sarvakamam cha dehi devi namostute Om Mahagauri namo namam Prem Samura Gauri Mata ki Jai. Devotees, we continue on with our puja now by offering prayers and obediences to that mother of light in this universe, that mother of monetary wealth, that mother of spiritual wealth. We offer prayers to Mother Lakshmi. So devotees, for those of you who have a Bedi set up at home, we have Lord Ganesh and Mother Gauri right here. That's going to be on your right hand side. The Khalsa is actually set in the very middle of the Bedi, and then Mother Lakshmi is to your right or to the left. So Mother Lakshmi is right here. You can't actually see her on camera right now, but if you see the diya, she's right behind the diya. So you're going to take your flowers in your hand, a pink flower. You're going to clasp your hands, close your eyes, focus your mind on the feet of Mother Lakshmi. As we send her an invitation, welcome her into our midst and offer her a seat so we can perform puja unto her. Om Mahalakshmi Namaham. Om Mahalakshmi Namastubhyam Surishwari Haripriye Namastubhyam Nayanide Om Sarvamangala Mangali Vishnu Vaksha Shitalaye Avahayami Devi Tvam Mahalakshmi Namaham Om Asya Murate Pranatishtantu Asya Murate Jivantishtantu Asya Murate Swarendriyani Manastutha Chakshu Shrotra Jiva Grihan Vakvani Om Tapta Kanchana Varanbhan Muktamani Virajitam Amalam Kamalam Divyam Asanam Pratigrihetam Om Mahalakshmi Namo Namah Om Dhyanati Dhyanam Avahanam Asanam Samarapayami. Take the water, wash her feet. Om Gandhani Tirate Sambhotam Gandha Pushpadim Hiryutam Padyandram Yaham Devi Grihan Shu Namostute. We wash our hands next. Om Ashtagandha Samayuktam Swarana Patra Prapuritam Agriha Grihanam Adhyatam Mahalakshmi Namostute. Wash her mouth next. Om Achmanim Om Sarvalokya Saya Shakti Brahma Vishnu Shivadubi Stutataram Yachmanam Tasye Mahalakshmi Manoharam. We offer water to bathe Mother Lakshmi with. Om Manna Kanya Samani Tarhe Mamora Vasite Snanam Kurushwa Devishi Sale Lasha Subhandibi. We offer Panchamrit to bathe with. Om Panchamrita Samayuktam Janvi Salilam Shubham Grihana Vishwajanani Snanartam the Utsale. We offer clean water again. Om Toya Tava Mahadevi Karpara Garuvasitam Tiratibhasu Samanitam Snanartam Pratigrehetam Om Mahalakshmi Namo Namaham Om Padyam Om Harigyam Achmanam Malabharakasha Snanam Panchamrita Snanam Shudhodhaka Snanam Samarapayami. We offer some clothing to adorn Mother Lakshmi with. Om Dibyambaram Nutam Om Dibyambaram Nutam Hikshamam Tvati Manoharam Diyamanam Maya Devi Grihana Jagadambike. We offer Mother Lakshmi a sacred thread. Om Now Bishtantu Biyuktak Trigunam Devatamayam Upavitam Mayadakam Grihana Paramishwaram. We offer Mother Lakshmi some chandan. Om Paramananda Saubhagya Paraniparanandi Gandhare Grihana Paramam Gandham Kripya Paramishwari. We offer Haridram. Om Haridra Nirmatam Devi Saubhagya Kusuka Sampade Atostam Puja Yishyami Grihana Paramishwari. We offer some kumkum kumpamana divyam kamana kamba samhoa kumkame marchitam devi grihana Parameshwari. We offer Sindhura next. Om Sindhuram Maruna Bhasam Jabhakusum Sanibam Pujitasi Maya Devi Prasidha Parameshwari. Om Mahalakshmi Namo Namam Om Vastarayugmam Yagyopavitam Chandaram Haridram Kumkumam Sindhuram Samarapayami. We offer some akshat, some rice. Om Akshata Nirmalam Chudhan Muktamani Samanvitan Grihanaman Mahadevi Dehi Me Nirmalam Dhiyam. We offer a pink flower. Om Malikadi Sughandini Malatyadini We Prabhu Mahratani Pujaratam Pushpani Pratigrihetam. Om Mahalakshmi Namo Namam Om Akshatam Om Pushpam Samarapayami. We offer a Beel and Golal next. Om Abhiram Changulalam Chacho Chandanamevacha Abhiryanarshida Devi Tatha Shantim Prayachama. We offer Samatar. Om Sneham Grihana Snehena Lokeshwari Rayanine Sarvalokyasya Janani Dadami Sneha Muktamam. Om Mahalakshmi Namo Namah. Om Abhiram Golalam Sugandhitin Samarpayami. We wave our incense around 3 times. Om Dashankranhulam Dhupam Chandaragaru Samyuktam Samarpitam Maya Bhaktya Mahadevi Pratigriheyatam. We perform Arti unto Mother Lakshmi. Om Kaparasaswarati Samyuktam Gritayuktam Manoharam Tamona Shakaram Nipam Grihana Parameshwari. Om Mahalakshmi Namo Namah. Om Dhupam Deepam Samarpayami. We offer an Naivedyam and a Kandaritu Phalam. Om Sharkara Khanda Khandyani Darikshriam Gritani Cha Aharam Bhojam Cha Naivedyam Pratigrihetam. Om Miram Palam Maya Deva Stapitam Purtastava Tename Sapalavaptir Bhavach Janmani. We offer water from Mother Lakshmi. Om Shitalan Nirmalam Toyam Karpurena Suvastitam Achamitam Midam Nevi Prasidha Paramamyaham. Om Mahalakshmi Namo Namah. Om Naivedyam Gandharitup Namachmanim Samarapayami. We offer a tambulam next. Om Punki Phalam Mahadivyam Nagavali Deryedutam Elachudanati Samyuktam Tambulam Pratigrihetam. We offer Dakshna. Om Puja Phala Smurdhyariratam Tavagre Swarana Mishwari Stapitam Tena Me Prita Puranan Kuru Manoratan. And we perform Karpura. Om Kadali Garbasam Bhuta Karpurashna Pradipitam Arartitakam Kurve Yashame Vardhubhava. Om Mahalakshmi Namo Namah. Om Karpuratim Samarpayami. And the final step that we perform, devotees, is you take a pink flower in your hand. You focus your minds on the feet of Mother Lakshmi as we offer our final pratana or our final prayer. Om Lakshmi Karotu Kalyanam Arugyam Dana Sampara Mama Shatru Vinashaye Deepa Jyotire Namostute. Om Namaste Astu Mahamai Shri Pite Surapujate Shanka Chakragrahaste Mahalakshmi Namostute. Om Namaste Garura Rudhe Kola Suram Hayankari Sarva Papa Hare Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute. Om Sarvange Sarvorane Sarvadushtam Hayankari Sarvadukha Hare Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute. Om Siddhi Buddhi Prade Devi Bhukti Mukti Pradayani Mantra Murte Sada Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute. Adyantare Hite Devi Adya Shakti Maheshwari Yoga Jayoga Sambhote Mahalakshmi Namostute. Om Stula Sukshma Maharodre Mahashakti Mahodare Mahapapa Hare Devi Mahalakshmi Namostute. Om Padmasana Sthite Devi Param Brahma Swarupini Parameshi Jagane Matar Mahalakshmi Namostute. Om Shvetambaradhari Devi Nana Lankar Bhushite Jagate Sthite Jagane Matar Mahalakshmi Namostute. Mahalakshmi Namostute. Om Prem Sabola Lakshmi Mata Ki Jai. And the last thing that we're going to do, devotees, before we commence and perform our puja onto Lord Ganesh is... You're blocking. The last thing we do, devotees, before we perform puja onto Lord Ganesh is we offer prayers to what we deem as the Navgraha Devata, the 9 planets. In our lives, the 9 planets have a very big influence. From the dates that we can perform our pujas, to the times that we can perform various things in our life, even down to the name that we receive, is all influenced because of the Navgraha Devata. So as we continue on with our puja, we ask for the Navgraha Devata to reside with us, to bless us, and to be favorable to us as we continue to live our daily lives. Om Japaka Soma Samhasham Ashapayam Mahadyutim Tamorim Sarobhabhagnam Pranatosmi Nivakaram Om Dadhi Shankautusharabham Kshirodharanaum Sambhavam Namami Sashinam Somam Shambhurmuktu Bhushanam Om Dharmani Garbhasambhutam Vidyukhanti Samaprabham Kumaram Shaktihastam Manghalam Pranamamnyaham Om Preyangu Kalika Shamam Rupena Pratimam Murham Saumyam Saumyam Gunopetam Tambodham Pranamamnyaham Om Devanam Charishinam Chagurum Kanchanam Janibhim Bhunibhutam Tilokshenam Tam Namami Brihaspatim Om Himakunda Mrinalabham Datyanam Paramam Gurum Sarva Shastra Pravartaram Bharagavam Pramayamnyaham Om Nilanjan Samabhasam Raviputram Yamagrajam Chaya Martan Samhotam Tanamami Samischaram Om Aryakhaya Mahaviryan Chandratya Virmanam Dhanam Sinhikara Garbha Sambhutam Tamrahum Paramamamyaham Om Palashas Pushpa Samkhasham Taraka Graham Matsakam Raudram Raudakmakaghoram Tam Kehitum Pranamamnyaham Om Ramyam Sushobhanam Divyam Sarvasaukyam Karam Shubham Asana Chamayadakam Grihana Parameshwaram Om Navgraha Devataya Namo Namaham Om Dhyanati Dhyanam Avahanam Asanam Samare Payami. We offer water to wash the feet of the Navgraha Devata. Om Ushnodakam Niramalam Sha Sarva Saughanda Samyuktam Padya Praksharanartayadakam Te Pratigrihetam. We offer water to wash their hands. Om Agriha Grihanarevasya Ghanna Pushpakshate Saha Karunam Kurme Deve Grihana Arigyanamustute. We perform Achmanyam. Om Sarvatirata Samayuktam Sughandi Nirmalam Jalam Achmitam Mayadakam Grihana Arigyanamustute. We offer water to wash their to bathe them, snanam. Om Ganga Saraswati Reva Payashni Nanamadajale Snapitoshi Mayadeva Tatha Shantim Kurushwame. We offer Panchamrit for bathing. Om Payodati Grihitam Cheva Madhum Chasharkaya Yuktam Panchamritamayanitam Snanaratam Pratigrihetam. We offer clean water to bathe again. Om Mandakanyatsu Yuravari Sarva Papam Haram Shivam Daridam Kalpitam Deva Snanaratam Pratigrihetam. Om Navgraha Devataya Namo Namah. Om Padyam Aryam Achmanyam Malaparaka Harsha Snanam Panchamrita Snanam Shlodaka Snanam Samarpayami. We offer some clothing for the Navgraha Devata. Om Mandakanyatsu Yuravari Sarva Papam Haram Shubham Daridam Kalpitam Deva Snanaratam Pradigrihetam. We offer Yagyopavit to adorn the Navgraha Devata with. Om Sarubhusharike Om Naubishantu Biyuktak Trigunam Devatamayam Upavitamayadakam Grihana Parameshwaram. Om Navgraha Devataya Namo Namah. Om Vastaryugam Yagyopavitam Samarpayami. We adorn the Navgraha Devata with the various powders, starting with Chandan. Om Shri Kanna Chandanam Divyam Gandhyadam Sumaroharam Viliparam Sarashishtaha Chandanam Pradigrihetam. We have our Haridram next. Om Haridra Nirmatam Deva Saubhagyam Sukha Sampada Ataswam Pujyashyami Grihana Parameshwaram. We offer some Kumkum. Om Shri Kumkum Kamana Divyam Kamana Kamba Sambhava Kumkume Marchito Deva Grihana Parameshwaram. We offer some Sindura next. Om Sinduram Sumaram Raktam Saubhagyam Priyohodaranam Shukaram Moksharam Sheva Sindhuram Pradigrihetam. Om Navgraha Devataya Namo Namah. Om Chandaram Haritram Kumkumam Sinduram Samarpayami. We offer some akshat. Om akshata, or some rice. Om akshatasta sura sheshta kumkumakta sushobita mayani vedit om bhaktya grihana paramishwaram. We offer some flowers of various colors: red, whites, pinks, yellows, greens if you have them. Om malikari sugandhini malityadini ve prabhu mahratani pujaratam pushpani pratigrihetam. Om navgrahatetaino munamam om akshatam pushpam samarpayami. We offer some abil and gulal next. Om abhiram cha gulalam cha cho chandramev cha abhirena archita devi tatha shantim prayachame. Om navgrahatetaino munamam om abhiram gulalam samarpayami. We offer some attar, some perfume. Om Champaka Shoka Wakun Malati Mogaradipi Wasitam Singadahitu Talyam Charu Grahetam Om Nagraha Devata Inamunamam Om Sugande Tel Samarpayami. We take our incense, we wave it around the Nagraha Devata to make the air around them more fragrant. Om Manaspati Rasotpana Sugandhadyo Manohara Agri Sarvarevanam Dupoyam Pratigrihetam. We perform arti next. Om Sajacham Varati Samyuktam Vahina yogitam maya deepam grihanarevasha trailokyati mirapaham. Om navgraha devataino munamam om dhupam deepam samarpayami. We take some naivedyam and a kandaritu from we offer it. Om sharakara grita samyuktam madhuram suruchotamam upara samayuktam naivedyam pratigrahetam. Om mirampalam maya deva stapitam puratastawa tename sapalautar bhavajjanmani janmani. We take some water, we offer it to the navgraha devata. Om sarva papaharam divyam gangayam nirmalam janam achamaya daktam grihana paramishwaram. Om navgraha devataino munamam om naivedyam akandaritu from achmanyam samarpayami. We offer the Nagraha Devata a tambulam, something to cleanse their palate with. Om Pogi Phalam Mahadivyam Nagavali Diryitam Elacharanati Samyuktam Tambulam Pratigrihetam. We offer a dakshina next, a coin. Om Hiranya Garbagara Vashtam Hema Bijam Vibhavaso Ananta Punya Phalatam Atashantim Prayachime. Om Nagraha Devata Inamunamam Om Pogi Phalam Dakshinam Samarapayami. We perform Karpur Arti next, devotees. Om Kadali Garbha Sambhuta Karparashta Pradipitam Ar Aratitakam Hamkuro Yashame Uradhomava. Om Nagraha Devataino Munamam Om Karpurarti Samarpayami. And we take a flower in our hand, devotees, as we offer a final prat and our final prayers to the Nagraha Devata. Om Nagraha Devataino Munamaham. Om Brahma Mudhari Tripurantakari Bhanu Shashi Bhumi Suto Buddhascha Guruscha Shukra Shanirahu Keto Sarve Graha Shanti Kara Bhavantu Sarve Graha Shanti Kara Bhavantu. Om Prem Samurana Graha Devata Ki Jai. Devotees, at this time we are going to go ahead and prepare for our Ganesh Chaturthi Puja. So for those of you who are going to be performing that full puja at home, I ask that you go ahead and have beside you all of the materials you need to perform puja. Go ahead and take the clothing that you may have that at the ready, and also take the prasad that you have and have that at the ready as well. And we're going to probably do that ourselves. So we're going to take the dhoti. The microphone's still on. All right, we're going to move the prasad over to the side. We are still here, devotees. We are just moving some things around and getting things ready for the puja. Got it? And the prasad. So devotees, before we come back and I show you all our Bedi and before we perform our puja to Ganesh, the Lord Ganesh, we have to understand a little bit about why we're here today and what we're actually performing. I've got many questions over the week as to what is Ganesh Chaturthi, why are we here today, and why are we performing this puja? And I want you to keep in mind, if you go and look at a calendar right now, so our mandir supplies very beautiful calendars for all of our members. On the calendar, you'll notice that every month there is something that's called Ganesh Chaturthi. And that is an auspicious time for us to worship Lord Ganesh. However, Ganesh Chaturthi, this one that we're celebrating today, the fourth day of the month of Bhadrapad on the Hindu calendar, which is usually during the month of August to September, that time frame, on the Gregorian calendar, this auspicious day celebrates the arrival of Lord Ganesh to earth from Kailash Parvat with his mother, goddess Parvati. So it's essentially the creation or the birth, if you want to say, of Lord Ganesh. That's why we celebrate this day more publicly and more worldwide. So you'll see in India and other places, today will mark a big celebration. It'll mark a celebration with devotees coming to their home, decorating and cleaning their home. But what a lot of people are doing at this point is building a murti of Lord Ganesh. And they're building that murti not out of things like metal or brass. They're not using marble. They're actually making murtis of Lord Ganesh out of earth, clay, dirt. But what is the reason for that? And why are people using that? And that comes from the creation story of Lord Ganesh. Now, I want you to keep in mind there's two stories that talk about the creation of Lord Ganesh that happened in our scriptures. The first one that I'm going to recite to you, devotees, is a very short story. It talks about Lord Ganesh being the ruler of balance. We know Lord Ganesh as the destroyer of obstacles, but Lord Ganesh also can place obstacles in our way. In this particular story, it was noted that Lord Ganesh was created by Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati on the request of the Devas to create a being to be a Vigna Karta, which means a creator of obstacles. Now the question is, why did the Devas ask for Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati to create somebody who would put obstacles in the way of others? This was done because at the beginning of the universe, devotees, when the churning of the Milky Ocean occurred, the things that came out were to balance this world. It was good, dharmic, and evil, adharmic. So this was done so that the obstacles could be created for the evil rakshas so that adharma could not prevail in this world. They wanted somebody to act as a vignakarta, a creator of obstacles to the various rakshas that were coming into this world, the evil ones, the demonic spirits. The other request they made, devotees, was that we understand that obstacles have to exist in this world, and that we understand that challenges are going to exist in this world. So we ask that as you create Lord Ganesh, you also grant him the power of Vignaharata. So you have Vignakarata, which is adding obstacles, and Vignaharata, averting or removing obstacles. And with that, they ask that Lord Ganesh continue to bless them so obstacles can be removed from their way so they can continue to spread dharma in this universe. And in that sense, devotees, we all have to understand the same thing. If you act in an evil way, if you act in a malicious and spiteful way, know that you're going to have Vignakarata. You're going to have difficult obstacles put in front of you. But if you act dharmic in this world, if you understand what balance, equability is, you're going to attain Vignaharata, removal of obstacles. That's the first story that we have of the creation of Lord Ganesh. But the second one is a little bit different. And the second one talks about why Lord Ganesh was created. I want you to keep in mind, in this story, Lord Ganesh was not created by two powerful beings, but instead he was created by one. This is in relation to Mother Parvati. During a time when Lord Shiva was not home, Mother Parvati needed someone to guard the door of her home while she took a bath. She wanted to make sure that she was private, she was alone, that nobody would come in. So, to do that, what Mother Parvati did was she used the earth around her home. She used the earth, right, her clay, everything, the dirt, to create a child, a young boy to guard the door. So she sculpted this child out of the earth, and then she gave it life. And so a young child was born. A young child was created. She left instructions to the young boy to guard the door and to not let anyone through. She wanted to make sure that she was protected. Of course, the boy agreed. He would do everything in his power to make sure that nobody got through that doorway and nobody was going to bother her. Now, keep in mind, that was the stipulation. Guard this door, make sure nobody comes through. There were no exceptions given. If my favorite dog comes home, if the milkman comes over, if my husband comes home. She never said any of that. She said, don't let anybody into this home. She departed to take her bath, and shortly after, Lord Shiva arrived back home to see a young boy guarding the door. Well, of course, it was a little suspicious to him, but he decided to try to enter his home anyways. But the young boy stopped him. He said, no, I was created with a sole duty, and that duty was to protect Mother Parvati and not let anybody into this home. This caused anger in Lord Shiva. He was angry because he felt like this young boy was insulting him by not letting him enter his own home, his own abode. So Lord Shiva at that time used his anger to battle this young boy. Lord Shiva was known as the destroyer. So you would think that this battle was actually easy for Lord Shiva, when in fact it was very difficult. When Mother Parvati invoked and created this child, she blessed him with powers, with divine grace. So the battle that Lord Shiva undertook with this young boy was very fierce. It was very great. But in the end, Lord Shiva won this battle by severing the head from the body of the boy. Well, after completing her bath, Mother Parvati returned only to find that Lord Shiva had taken the life of this young boy that she so lovingly created. At this point, she was enraged, and she instructed Lord Shiva that he needed to right the wrong that he committed out of anger. So, of course, Lord Shiva complied. He promised to bring the young boy back to life, but the boy would need a new head. The head that he had severed was destroyed. There's nothing he could do to bring the boy back to life without the head. So Lord Shiva instructed the devas that served him to bring back the head of the first creature they found that was deceased and facing north. So the devas complied. Of course, they wanted to please Lord Shiva. So they go and they search, and for some time, they find a young deceased elephant that's facing north. Now, again, the stipulations for Lord Shiva was find the first creature that you find that's deceased and facing north. Not the first deceased human, the first deceased creature. Because as we understand, and as we've talked about from the Bhagavad Gita, and as we know, men, animals, dogs, elephants, cows, bugs, everything is created equal. We should look at everything with equality. So they acquired the head of this elephant and returned to Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva immediately fixed the head of the elephant to the boy, to the body of the young boy, and gave it new life. It was from this point that Lord Shiva and Mother Parvati took this young elephant-headed boy with such great powers as their own and adored him with the name Ganesh. The reason his name is Ganesh is because it's part Gana, which means multitude, and Isha, Lord, the ruler, the Lord of multitude, the destroyer of obstacles in our life. That's the story of the creation of Lord Ganesh, devotees. But some things that we also have to remember. Is that Ganesh Chaturthi itself, even though we're celebrating today, is a 10-day period. That's how it's celebrated in India and other parts of the world. It lasts for 10 days. On the 10th day, which we know as Ganesh Visarjan, devotees complete their worship and offer the idols that they've made of earth and made of clay into running water. So I'm not saying a bucket of water. I'm not saying they take it and put it outside in the rain. They place it in a river. And they do that symbolically because it's made of earth. And as the water consumes this murti and starts to break it down, it symbolically represents the disappearance of Lord Ganesh from the earthly plane to return to his home on the abode of Mount Kailash, to reside with Mother Parvati and Lord Shiva. So at this time, devotees, I ask that you all, please, take a flower in your hand. If you have one, a red flower. Can I get that puja book, please? I ask devotees that at this time, you take a red flower in your hand, you clasp your hands, you close your eyes, you focus your minds on the feet of Lord Ganesh. We've already welcomed into our midst. We're going to offer him a seat unto our Bedi now, devotees, so we may perform puja unto him. Om Ramyam Sushobhanam Divyam Sarosakya Shubham Asanam Chayamayadakam Grihana Parameshwaram Om Shri Ganapate Namo Namam Om Asanam Samarapayami. As we perform our puja unto Lord Ganesh, devotees, I ask that we all please join together in chanting the prayers along with this wonderful song. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva,
Mata Jaki Parvati Pita.
We wash the feet of Lord Ganesh. Ushnotakam Nirmalam Cha Sarva Saugandha Samyuktam Pada Praksharanarathayadakam Te Pratigriheyatam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati. We wash his hands next. Argriha Grihana Devasya Ghanna Pushpakshate Saha Karudam Kurume Deva Grihana Argyanamustute. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha
Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati.
We wash the mouth of Lord Ganesh. Sarvatirata Samayuktam Sughani Nirmalam Jhalam Achmayata Mayadakam Grihana Argyanamustute. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva,
Mata Jaki Parvati.
We bathe Lord Ganesh with some clean water. Ganga Saraswati Reva Payashi Narmadanjale Snapito Shimaya Deva Tata Shantim Kurushwame. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva,
Mata Jaki Parvati.
We bathe Lord Ganesh with some Panchamrit. Payodhi Gretam Sheva Madhyum Cha Sharkaya Yuktam Panchamritmayanitam Snanatam Pratigriheyatam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva,
Mata Jaki Parvati.
We bathe Lord Ganesh with some clean water again. Mandakinyatsu Yuravari Sarva Papam Haram Shubham Daridam Kalpitam Deva Snanatam Pratigriheyatam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva,
Mata Jaki Parvati.
We offer some clothing for Lord Ganesh. Sarvabhusha Dike Sumye Lukkala Junivarine Mayopa Badithe Tubhyam Vasasi Pratigriheyatam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva,
Mata Jaki Parvati Pita.
We offer a Yagyapoit for Lord Ganesh. Now Bishtantu me yukta Dragunam Devatamayam Upavitam Mayadakam Grihana Parameshwaram. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva,
Mata Jaki Parvati Pita.
We offer the various patterns Chandan Haridram Kumkum Sindor Shrikanda Chandanam Nibyam Gandhyadhyam Sumanoharam Vilipana Surashishtaha Chandanam Pradigriheyatam Haridra Niramatam Deva Saubhagyak Sukha Sampada Athaswam Pujayashyami Grihana Parameshwaram Kumkumum Kamanadibyam Kamana Kamba Sambhava Kumkume Marchito Neva Grihana Parameshwaram Sindhuram Shumharaktam Saubhagam Priyavardhanam Shukadam Mokshadam Cheva Sindhuram Pradigriheyatam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva,
Mata Jaki Parvati.
We offer rice and flowers. Akshatas Chusharishta Kumkumaktu Shobita Mayani Vedito Bhaktya Grihana Parameshwaram Malikari Sughanhini Malityadini Ve Prabho Mayertani Pujaratam Pushpani Pratigriheyatam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha
Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva.
Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. We offer Bilangal next. Abhiram cha gulalam cha chu chandanameva cha abhirerachidha deva tatha shantim prayachame. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha,
Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati.
We offer some attar, perfume for Lord Ganesh. Champaka shoka vakula malati mugarari bhi vasitam singradha hetu talim charugriheyatam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. We wave the incense around Lord Ganesh. Vanaspati rosotpana subhinado manohara agriya sarvadevanam rupayam pratigriheyatam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. We perform Arti. Sachacham varati samyuktam vahina yugitam maya deepam grihalade vashatra lokyate mirapaham. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. You offer your prasad naivedyam. Idam palam maya neva stapitam purutastava tena me sapala vapte vave janmani janmani. Om Sharakaragrita samyuktam madhuram swaduchotamam uparasamayuktam naivedyam pratigriheyat tam. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Ladavana ka bhoga lage santa kare seva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha,
Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva.
Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha
Deva. Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva.
Ladavana ka bhoga lage santa kare seva.
लड्डुअन का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा.
Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva. Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva.
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा. माता जाकी पार्वती पिता.
We offer some water for Lord Ganesh. Sarva papam haram divyam yangayam nirmalam jalam achmanam maya daktam grihana parameshwaram. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva.
माता जाकी पार्वती पिता.
We offer tambulam and a dakshina. Bhugi phalam mahadivyam nagavali hindariryutam lacharanadi samyuktam tambulam pratigriheyatam hiranyagarbha garbhashtam hemam bijam vibhavasau ananta punya phaladam natashantim prayachame. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva.
माता जाकी पार्वती पिता.
We perform Karpur Arti. Kadhali Garbha Sambhuta Karpurasha Pradipitam Arartitikamaham Kurve Yashame Urradho Bhava. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva.
माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा.
Ekadanta Dayavanta Chara Bhujanhari.
एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी.
मात के सिंधुर सोही मूसा के सवारी दुखियों के दुखा हरत परमानंद देवा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश,
जय गणेश देवा. माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा.
अंधन को आंख देते कुरियन को खाया.
अंधन को आँख देत कोरियन को काया.
बंझन को पुत्र देते निर्धन को माया. भव से पर करो नाथ भजन करो तेरा. जय गणेश, जय गणेश, जय गणेश देवा.
माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा.
जो तेरा ध्यान करो ज्ञान मिले उसको,
जो तेरा ध्यान करो ज्ञान मिले उसको,
छोड़ तुझे और भन जाओ मैं ही किसको, हे देवा कृपा करो कष्ट हरो मेरा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। Devotees, at this time I ask that you all take a flower in your hand, a red flower. We clasp our hands, we close our eyes, we focus our minds on the feet of Lord Ganesh as we offer our final prarthana. Om Jananam Bhutanganadhi Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palachara Bhakshanam Umasutam Shoka Vinashakarakam Namami Viganeshwara Pada Pankajam. Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirviganam Kurume Deva Sarvakarishu Sarvadha. Om Raksha Raksha Gana Raksha Rakshatre Lokya Rakshakar Bhaktanam Bhayam Karta Trata Bhava Bhavarnavar. Om Shriman Mahaganadipate Namaham Prem se bolo Ganesh Bhagwana ki jai. Okay, devotees, before we continue on with our Hawan, we're going to have one bhajan and then we will move on.
वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन, हे लम्बोदर गजानना। वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन, हे लम्बोदर गजानना। रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो, रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो, हे शशि शेखर वंदना। वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन, हे लम्बोदर गजानना। वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन, हे लम्बोदर गजानना। जो ध्यावे मांचित फल पावे, जो ध्यावे मांचित फल पावे। अग्रदेव तुम वंदना, अग्रदेव तुम वंदना। वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन, हे लम्बोदर गजानना। वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन, हे लम्बोदर गजानना। कालविमलमना वन्दे गणपति विघ्नविनाशन हे लम्बोदर गजानना वन्दे गणपति विघ्नविनाशन हे लम्बोदर गजानना रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो रिद्धि सिद्धि के दाता तुम हो हे शशि शेखर वंदना वन्दे गणपति विघ्न विनाशन हे लम्बोदर गजानना हे लम्बोदर गजानना हे लम्बोदर गजानना.
Devotees, at this time, we will commence with our Hawan ceremony. For those of you who have a Hawan kund that's already lit and an area for to make your offerings, I ask that you go ahead and have your samagri ready. But to start off with, we are going to go ahead and take our... I apologize. I'm sorry. I'm on the wrong page. We're going to go ahead and take our ghee, and we're going to offer our ghee into the Hawan kund first. Om Twadno Agnevaru Savidwandwe Devasahiro Vayashishtaha Yajishti Wahino Tamosha Shuchano Vishwadveshan Pramung Dasmat Swaha Edam Agni Varanaya Bhandidan Namama Om Satwadno Agnevamo Bhavati Nejishto Ase Ushaso Yashtao Ao Yakshwano Varunurano Vihimritikam Sone Edhi Swaha Edam Agni Varanaya Idandhanama Om Imam Evarana Shruthi Auyam Adya Chamridhaya Tavam Aya Sarachike Swaha Idam Varana Idam Namama Om Tatvayami Brahmana Vandamanastara Ashasto Yachmano Havirbihi Aheda Manovarana Borshunsa Mana Yupramoshi Swaha Idam Varana Idam Namama Om Yete Shantam Varanai Sahasram Yajniya Pashuvita Mahanta Devirano Adya Savitorta Vishnu Vishwa Manchatamarta Swaraka Swaha Idam Varanai Savitare Vishwa Bhu Deve Bhu Marabhya Swarakebhya Idam Namama Om Ayashchagnes Yanabihi Shashtishta Satyam Itwamaya Asi Ayano Yajnam Vyasyaya No Dehi Beshajam Swaha Idam Agnim Hase Idam Namama Om Uduttamam Varna Pasham Asmara Vadamam Vimadhyamam Hamshrataya Atvayam Adityavarate Davanakaso Adityay Syama Swaha Idam Varnaya Adityaya Chan Idam Namama. Devotees, at this time we will offer both samagri and ghee into our Hawan kunds. Om Prithvi Devaya Vidmahe Dharma Dhimahi Tano Prithvi Prachodhayat Om Bhora Bhuva Swaha Swaha Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Dharma Dhimahi Tano Danti Prachodhayat Om Bhora Bhuva Swaha Swaha Om Yirajhaya Vidmahe Shiva Priyaya Dhimahi Tano Gauri Prachodhayat Om Bhora Bhuva Swaha Swaha Om Shoras Matrika Namaha Swaha Om Chatu Shashti Yogani Namaha Swaha Om Kalash Gumbaya Namaha Swaha Om Chaturvedaya Namaha Swaha Om Sarvatirtebhyo Namaha Swaha Om Katyayandye Vidmahe Kanyakumarye Dhimahi Tano Durge Prachodhayat Om Bhora Bhuva Swaha Swaha Om Mahalakshmi Vidmahe Vishnu Patni Dhimahi Tano Lakshmi Prachodhayat Om Bhora Bhuva Om Magadivye Vidmahe भुवनेश्वरी धीमहि तन्नो सरस्वती प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा ओम सूर्याय नमः स्वाहा इदं सूर्याय इदं नामः ओम चंद्राय नमः स्वाहा इदं चंद्राय इदं नामः ओम भौमाय नमः स्वाहा इदं चंद्र ओम इदं भौमाय इदं नामः ओम बुधाय नमः स्वाहा इदं बुधाय इदं नामः ओम बृहस्पते नमः स्वाहा इदं बृहस्पतये इदं नामः ओम शुक्राय नमः स्वाहा इदं शुक्राय इदं नामः ओम शनिश्चराय नमः स्वाहा इदं शनिश्चराय इदं नामः ओम राहवे नमः स्वाहा इदं राहवे इदं नामः ओम केतवे नमः स्वाहा इदं केतवे इदं नामः ओम पंचलोकपालेवाय नमः स्वाहा ओम दशदिक्पालेवाय नमः स्वाहा ओम वेदत्मने विद्महे हिरण्यगर्भाय धीमहि तन्नो ब्रह्म प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा ओम नारायणाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो विष्णु प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा ओम रामचंद्राय विद्महे धर्मरथाय धीमहि तन्नो राम प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा ओम जनकनंदन्ये विद्महे भूमिजय धीमहि तन्नो सीता प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा ओम अंजन्ये विद्महे वायुपुत्राय धीमहि तन्नो हनुमान प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः स्वाहा ओम देवकी नंदनाय विद्महे वासुदेवाय धीमहि तन्नो कृष्ण प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वाहा ओम सदाशिवाय विद्महे सहस्रक्षाय धीमहि तन्नो शंभो प्रचोदयात् ओम भूर्भुवः स्वः ओम गुरुवे नमः स्वाहा ओम इष्ट देवताभ्यो नमः स्वाहा ओम कुल देवताभ्यो नमः स्वाहा ओम ग्राम देवताभ्यो नमः स्वाहा ओम वास्तु देवताभ्यो नमः स्वाहा ओम स्थान देवताभ्यो नमः स्वाहा ओम सर्वेभ्यो देवेभ्यो नमः स्वाहा ओम सर्वेभ्यो पितृभ्यो नमः स्वधा ओम भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा ओम भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा ओम भूर्भुवस्सुवः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् स्वाहा. At this point, devotees, you're going to take the remaining samagri that you have. You're going to place it into a palm leaf with a supari and a nutmeg. You're going to go ahead and stand, and we're going to commence with our final offerings known as Puranahuti. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnata Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Madhanam Nivoratim Prathibhya Viswanaramrita Ajatam Aganim Kavigvam Samrajakidim Janana Masana Patram Janayam Tireva Swaha Om Sarvam Purnanagvam Swaha Om Sarvam Gvai Purnanagvam Swaha Om Sarvam Gvai Purnanagvam Swaha. You're going to collect your remaining ghee and offer it once I say swaha, devotees. Om vasopavitramasi shadhadharam vasopavitramasi sahadadaram ne vastvasavinopanatu vasopavitrana shatodharena sapoa kamahandukshaha swaha. At this point, devotees, we all take blessings from Agni Devata. Om Tarvaganiyasi Tanvame Pahi Om Haryada Agni Sadyor Me Dehi Om Varachodaganisi Varachume Dehi Om Agniyanwe Tanva Uranam Tadmapuruna Om Tejwasi Tejamai Dehi Om Viryamasi Viryamai Dehi Om Balamasi Balamai Dehi Om Ojwasi Ojamai Dehi Om Manyurasi Manyumai Dehi Om Sahosi Sahomai Dehi Om Shanti Rastu Pushti Rastu Brithi Rastu Yatapaparam Tatirupati Ashtu Dviparechirush we sprinkle water around the Havan 3 times. Achmanyam. Om Sarva Papaharam Dibyam Yangayam Nirmalam Jalam Achmanamayadattam Grahetam Purushotamam. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Prem Samuragni Devata Ki Jai. Devotees, at this time, now that we've completed all of our steps for our puja, we perform our second to last step, which is we light a diya, place it into a thali, and I ask that we all please clasp our hands and stand as we join together in performing our arti. So for those of you who are at home, you will perform arti onto your bedi, onto your puja place, and for those of you who are with your parents or with elders that you respect, you perform arti onto them as well. Okay. Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva,
माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा
Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha, Jai Ganesha Deva, Mata Jaki Parvati Pita Mahadeva.
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा
लडवन का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा,
लड्डुअन का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा
लडवन का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा,
लड्डुअन का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा, जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा. एकदंत दयावंत चार भुजधारी, एकदंत दयावंत
चार भुजाधारी
एकदंत दयावंत चार भुजधारी,
एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी
माते के सिंधुर सोही मुसके सवारी, दुखियों के दुख हरत पद्मानंदरे वा, जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा.
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा
अंधन को आखरित कुरियन को काया,
अंधन को आँख देत कोढ़ियन को काया,
अंधन को आखरित कुरियन को काया,
अंधन को आँख देत कोढ़ियन को काया,
बंझन को पुत्र देते निर्धन को माया, भव से भर करो नाथ भजन करो तेरा, जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा, जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा.
जय गणेश देवा माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा.
जो तेरे ध्यान करो ज्ञान मिले उसको, जो तेरा ध्यान करो ज्ञान मिले उसको, जो तेरा ध्यान करो ज्ञान मिले उसको, जो तेरा ध्यान करो ज्ञान मिले उसको। छोड़ तुझे और भला जाऊँ मैं किसको, हे देव कृपा करो कष्ट हरो मेरा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। लडवन भोग लगे संत करे सेवा, लडवन भोग लगे संत करे सेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। करंत धायवंत चार भुजधारी, करंत धायवंत चार भुजधारी। माथे के सिंदूर सोहे मुसके सवारी, दुखियों के दुख हरत परमानंद देवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा।
जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा, माता जाकी पार्वती पिता महादेवा। लड्डुअन का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा, लड्डुअन का भोग लगे संत करे सेवा। जय गणेश गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा। व्रजवंदवार्ती जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाके पार्वती पिता पिता महादेवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी एक दंत दयावंत चार भुजाधारी मात के सिंदूर सोहे मूस की सवारी दुखियों के दुख हरत परमानंद देवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा जय गणेश जय गणेश जय गणेश देवा माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा माता जाके पार्वती पिता महादेवा।
ओम श्री गणपते नमः। ओम श्री गणपते नमः। ओम श्री गणपते नमः। ओम श्री गणपते नमो 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 नमः। Devotees, at this time, I ask that you please take a flower in your hand, that we clasp our hands, we close our eyes. We focus our minds on the feet of Bhagwan. We focus our minds on the feet of Lord Ganesh as we offer these closing prayers. Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shanti Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Om Sarve Sukhino Bhavantu Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashantu Ma Kaschita Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janardanam Yatya Pujitam Maya Deva Paripurnam Dharastu Me Papam Papo Karamaham Papo Atma Papo Sambhua Trahimam Pundari Kaksham Sarva Papo Haru Hari Om Tvameva Matascha Pita Tvameva Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Mama Deva Deva Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasuma Jyotirgamaya Mrityuma Mritam Yamaya Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Devotees, if you're standing, I ask that you please bow as we continue with our prayers. Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Deo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Ya Shanti Antariksha Gum Shanti Prithvi Shanti Apa Shanti Aushadhaya Shantir Vanaspati Shantir Vishwaneva Shantir Brahma Shantir Sarvegvam Shantir Shantireva Shanti Sama Shantireri Hari Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tatsat. Prem Swara Gauri Mata Ki Jai. Prem Swara Lakshmi Mata Ki. Prem Swara Nagraha Devata Ki. Prem Swara Ganesh Bhagwana Ki. Prem Swara Shiva Shakti Mandir Ki. Prem Se Bolo Sanatana Dharma Ki Jai. Devotees, with this, we've come to the end of our special Ganesh Chaturthi Puja for this evening. But before we complete and finish the puja itself, there's a few more steps that we must take. So for those of you who actually have a gift to offer, whether it be a monetary donation or maybe you're giving something to family or friends, you're going to take that gift now. It's both of these, right? You'll hold that gift in your hands with the flower. You hold both gifts in your hand as we offer this prayer. Om Hiranya Garbhagarabhashtam Hema Bijam Vibhavasa Ananta Punya Faladam Atha Shantim Parayachame. Om Dakshanam, you offer your gifts to the Bedi 3 times, so the day was 3 times. Om Dakshanam Samarpayami. And then you can give the gift to whoever it's meant for. Who's this for? Oh gosh. Who's that? Oh. The next step you perform, devotees, if you have any food to offer, I ask that you hold that in your hands right now. And as you offer that food and you hold that food, hold it in your hands as we chant, Om Twadim Vastu Govindam Tubhyame Samparpayai Grihana Sanmukho Bhutava Bhojana Prasida Purushottamam. You offer that water to your altar 3 times. Om Bhojanam Samarpayami. The next step that you want to perform, devotees, is pass your RT around. Make sure that everybody that is in the area receives RT. If you have Panchamrit to offer, ensure that those that are participating in puja with you tonight are also receiving Panchamrit. Om Akalabhitu Haranam Sarva Vidyavinashanam. Go ahead and drink it. Vishnu Padodhakam Pitava Sirasadharayamyaham. Om Panchamritam Samarpayami. And then the final step that we perform, devotees, if you have flags, you can take those and place them outside. But the final step that we perform, devotees, is that we've asked all the devotees to come reside with us today to perform puja with us. And it would not be right for us to ask those devotees to stay here and reside with us forever. We have to make sure that they also return home safely and that they have a wonderful and safe journey. So what you're going to do, if you perform this full puja with us at home, if you have your own Bedi, or if not, you can join with us. We're going to grab our kalsa in the very middle. We're going to lightly shake it, and we're going to say, Ganesh Arpanam Astu. And with that, devotees, we have come to the end of our Ganesh Chaturthi Puja this evening, August 21st, 2020. I want to thank you all for joining us this evening. I know that it is a Friday, and I know that a lot of kids have started school this week. I shouldn't just say kids. Parents, technically, you also started school, because when your kids go to school, you go to school too, right? And so as we pray for Lord Ganesh and as we ask for his blessings, we also, as students and as parents and just as people in general, we ask for his blessings to remove any obstacles in our way. We ask that those obstacles, whether they be physical, emotional, spiritual, or mental, be removed from our path so we may live a happy, healthy, long, and prosperous life. I do want to end with this last thing, devotees, and the question which I got before is that Ganesh Chaturthi is 10 days. It starts on the 4th day of Bhadrapad and ends on the Chaturdashi day of Bhadrapad, which is the 14th day. So it's 10 days long. But why is it 10 days? It always starts on the 4th day and always ends on a day known as Anant Chaturdashi, which is the 14th day of the month of Bhadrapad. This day not only celebrates Lord Ganesh, but also celebrates Lord Vishnu and his Anant, his infinite form. The word Anat means endless, and Lord Vishnu resides in a reclining posture that signifies the state of spiritual rest. This form of Lord Vishnu reminds us that one should remain undisturbed by happiness and sorrow and remain balanced in life. Only a person who remains in equilibrium can realize his true self. By letting our murtis of Lord Ganesh, made of earth, so for us we made one out of turmeric powder, dissolve, we are understanding that at a point in time, the body has to finally dissolve into Paramatma, into Bhagwan, to achieve salvation and have the soul return to its humble abode with Bhagwan. Despite letting the murti leave our lives, we are to know that the existence is and will continue to remain in a state of equilibrium, just as we know that Lord Ganesh is always in our lives, providing Vignaharata, aversion to obstacles. So that's why we celebrate for 10 days, and that's why it ends on the 14th day every single time, to represent that significance and the symbolism of equilibrium in our lives. But again, devotees, I want to thank you all for taking the time out to be here with us today on our wonderful Ganesh Chaturthi Puja. I'm looking at our president to see if he has any announcements he would like to share. He does not. So I hope you all have a safe, wonderful Friday. Have a safe, wonderful weekend. And as always, devotees, we'll see you back here at 10 a.m. for our regular Sunday morning service. Jai Sita Ram, everybody.